Is it all about the keyboard?
It's all about the keyboard, and the interesting thing to me on this is that it really shouldn't be all about the keyboard, right? The reason we're talking about the keyboard is because Apple redesigned it after there were years of complaints on what is known as the butterfly mechanism keyboard they launched in 2015. So if they hadn't moved to that design, we wouldn't be really talking about the keyboard right now. But the good news is the new models that they are shipping are a big improvement on the keyboard side.
And who is the big target audience here? Is it mostly software developers and video editors?
Yeah, I mean, this is the MacBook Pro. This is their highest end laptop. You know, lots of people buy these things. It's one of the most popular Macs other than the MacBook Air. There really is no limit on who's going to buy these, but they're pretty much designed for video editors, software developers, gamers, anyone who wants to drop between $2,000 and $3,000 on a computer. But of course, there's lots of students who buy these as well.
So Mark, talk to me about that price point. It feels expensive. You just mentioned about $2,400. The desktop goes for almost double that. Is there demand at that price point?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, these MacBook Pros have had the same general pricing scheme for about a decade or more now, right? The MacBook Pro was first launched in 2006, right? The PowerBook existed before that for many years, and so these always have been in that pricing category. A lot of people thought that this new 16-inch model before its introduction would come in quite a bit higher than the 15-inch model, but Apple is actually replacing it. So the good news there is, you know, this is cheaper than some expected it would actually come out to be.
And where does the MacBook fit into Apple's overall revenue strategy and product strategy?
Right, so the Mac represents about 10% of Apple's sales. It's been generating between 23 and 27 billion a year annually for the last 7 or 8 years. So it's been an incredibly steady seller for Apple, and it has brought in a good chunk. 10% of revenue is, you know, that's a lot when you're talking about a company with $1 trillion market cap, right? In terms of its future, I mean, Apple seems pretty dedicated to the Mac. This was not always the case. 2-3 years ago, it seemed like the Mac was, you know, dying, right, on its way out from being an Apple product line. But lots of people complained. People noticed that Apple was taking a really long time to update its computers. They've sort of abandoned the Pro market. But the last 2 or 3 years, it seems like Apple, and specifically its marketing head, Phil Schiller, really took the issue head on and turned this thing around. And the Mac really appears to be more important than it has been in some time for Apple.
Mark, the last few days I've been obsessed with the streaming wars, so I have to ask, how much of the demand of the new buyers out there could be buying this? Because we know that you get Apple TV Plus if you buy a new product.
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, to be totally honest with you, I don't really think anyone is going to buy the new MacBook Pro just to get that free year, right? I mean, we're talking about a $2,300 machine, and then TV Plus is $5 a month, and if you're going to be subscribing to TV Plus, chances are you're an early adopter who already bought an iPhone or something more recently too. So I mean, maybe a few people, maybe you, Taylor, but to be honest, I don't think most people.